The last escape. The refugee fleet was dying. Not from hunger alone. Not from fear alone. But from being hunted without mercy. For months they had run. From one star system to the next. 12 systems had fallen behind them. 12 worlds that once promised safety. 12 worlds that closed their gates. Each time the story was the same. They arrived damaged and weak. They asked for help. And the answer was silence or betrayal. Now their ships were barely holding together. Hull plates were cracked. Engines flickered with weak light. Life support alarms echoed through corridors. Children clung to their parents. Elders whispered old prayers. And the bridge crews watched their scanners with shaking hands. Behind them the enemy was coming. The hunters never stopped. Their black warships moved like shadows. Fast, cold, and patient. They had destroyed every refuge. Every convoy. Every last chance. The refugees had no soldiers. No weapons to fight back. Only families. Only hope. On the command ship, the refugee leader stood silently. Her eyes were tired. Her hands trembled as she stared at the star map. Only one system remained. It was marked in red. Labeled with warnings written in many languages. Sol system, human territory. The room grew quiet. Everyone knew the stories. Humans came from a death world. A planet full of storms, predators, and endless conflict. A species that survived by fighting nature itself. The elders spoke carefully. Humans are unpredictable. They fight hard. They trust slowly. Another voice whispered. Some say they wipe out anyone who threatens them. But another elder spoke with pain in his voice. All other worlds have already condemned us. At least humans are honest about danger. The enemy fleet appeared again on the scanners. Closer now. Much closer. Weapons signatures lit up the screen. Jump drives charging. The hunters were ready to finish this chase. The refugee leader took a slow breath. Her voice was calm but heavy. We have no other path. We jumped to Sol. No one argued. The engines roared weakly. Power was diverted from non-essential systems. Lights dimmed across the ships. A child asked softly, "Will the humans save us?" No one answered. Space twisted. Stars stretched into lines. And the refugee fleet vanished into hyperspace. Moments later, they emerged near a yellow star. The Sol system. Immediately, alarms screamed again. Unknown signals flooded their sensors. Machines far more advanced than anything they had seen. Human satellites surrounded them silently. Cold metal eyes watching every movement. Weapons locks followed their ships. Perfect, precise, terrifying. On Earth, human command centers activated. Operators spoke calmly. Screens filled with images of broken ships and civilian life pods. Human officers noticed something strange. There were no battle formations. No attack patterns. Only chaos and fear. Back in space, the refugees powered down their weapons. They opened all channels, broadcasting a single message. We seek asylum. We are civilians. We are being hunted. Seconds felt like hours. Then, the hunters arrived. Enemy warships tore into the system, ignoring Earth's warnings, ignoring human borders. The enemy commander laughed over open channels. This is not your war, humans. Step aside. Human fleets began to move. Massive ships rose from hidden positions. Others emerged from Earth's orbit, from the dark side of the moon, from deep space docks. The refugees watched in shock. Human ships were not fast in panic. They moved slowly, confidently. Like predators who knew they already controlled the field. The enemy opened fire. The first shots of the final chase crossed human space. On the human flagship, an admiral watched calmly, hands folded behind his back. He spoke quietly. You crossed our border. Weapons charged across the human fleet. Lights brightened. Engines hummed with controlled power. The refugees held their breath, not knowing if Earth would protect them, or destroy everyone in the system. And as human cannons aligned, the galaxy stood on the edge of a decision. One that would change everything. Earth's judgment. Silence filled the Sol system. Not the calm kind, but the heavy silence before a storm. The refugee ships drifted helplessly. Engines weak. Shields barely alive. They stayed behind the human fleet like frightened children. Across space, the enemy warships spread out. Confident, aggressive. Their weapons glowed with hunger. The enemy commander spoke again. His voice sharp and mocking. Humans, he said. These fugitives belong to us. They are criminals. Step aside and you will not be harmed. On Earth, the message played in command rooms across the planet. Human leaders listened carefully, faces calm. No anger, no panic. They had already seen the truth. Human sensors showed everything. Burn marks on civilian ships. Medical bays full of wounded children. Escape pods welded shut to survive vacuum. These were not soldiers. These were families. A human analyst spoke quietly. They have been running for months. They never fired a single shot. The room stayed silent. Then the human admiral spoke. His voice steady. Open a channel. The broadcast reached every ship in the system. Human, refugee, and enemy alike. This is human space, the admiral said. You have crossed our border. The enemy commander laughed. Borders mean nothing to us. The admiral did not raise his voice. You are threatening civilians? That makes this our war. Behind the refugees, human ships shifted position. Not attacking, not retreating, but forming a wall, a shield. The refugees realized it slowly. Human warships were placing themselves between the hunters and the helpless. A child stared out of a viewport. Are they protecting us? Still no one answered. The enemy commander grew angry. We warned you, humans. Move or be destroyed. His fleet opened fire. Bright beams cut through space. Explosions lit the dark. But the shots did not reach the refugees. Human shields flared blue and gold, absorbing the impact. Holding firm, the refugees watched in shock. Human ships did not dodge. They did not retreat. They simply endured. Human cannons did not fire yet. The admiral watched calmly, counting, measuring. The enemy continued their assault. Faster, harder, angrier. Then the admiral spoke one word. Enough. The human fleet responded instantly. Weapons powered up across hundreds of ships. Rails hummed. Energy cores glowed. Human vessels moved with perfect timing. Like one mind. Like one will. Still they did not fire. The admiral sent one final message to the enemy. Withdraw. This is your last warning. The enemy commander hesitated. Just for a moment. Then pride won. Fire everything, he ordered. The refugees closed their eyes, expecting the end. But it did not come. Instead, human ships surged forward. Not toward the refugees, but toward the attackers. Human warships accelerated with terrifying control, their formations tightening, cutting off escape paths. The enemy fleet suddenly realized the truth. Earth was not reacting in fear. Earth was taking command. Human strike groups locked targets, not randomly, but carefully. Weapon systems chose engines, weapons arrays, command ships. Still, no shots fired. The enemy commander shouted orders. But it was too late. The human admiral's voice echoed across space. You were warned. His hand lowered slowly. Engage. Human weapons ignited. Space erupted in controlled destruction. Not chaos. Not rage. Precision. Enemy ships lost engines in seconds. Power grids collapsed. Command signals vanished. The refugees stared in disbelief. Human fire was clean. Exact. Merciless to warships. Careful around civilians. Within moments, the hunters' confidence shattered. But deep in enemy formation, something else activated. A massive energy spike appeared on human sensors. Far stronger than before. A weapon, not meant for ships, but for worlds. The human admiral's eyes narrowed. The enemy commander smiled again, cold and cruel. If we fall, he said, Earth burns with us. The weapon began charging. A planet killer hidden among the fleet. Human officers turned toward their admiral, waiting. The refugees felt terror return, stronger than ever. The fate of Earth, and everyone on it, now hung on a single decision. The galaxy's worst mistake. The planet killer weapon continued to charge, energy building like a second sun. Its glow reflected across Earth's oceans. Human sensors confirmed the truth. This was not a bluff. It was designed to crack a world open. Inside the human flagship, the command room stayed calm. No shouting, no panic. The admiral raised his hand slightly. All units, he said. Priority 1, protect Earth. The human fleet responded at once. Ships broke formation smoothly. Some rushed toward the weapon. Others tightened their shield wall around Earth. And many moved to block any escape. The refugees watched everything in silence. They had never seen war like this. No chaos, only control. The enemy commander laughed. You are too late. The weapon reached full charge. A beam of raw energy fired toward Earth. Before it could strike, something impossible happened. Human ships moved into the beam. Not one, not two, but dozens. They burned. Their shields screamed. Hull plates melted. But they did not move away. They held the line. The refugees gasped. Some cried out. Human pilots were sacrificing themselves. Without hesitation. On the human flagship, the admiral did not look away. His voice stayed steady. Now. Hidden human weapons activated. Silent at first, then devastating. Gravity anchors locked onto the planet killer. Warp fields collapsed around it, pinning it in place. Human strike ships surged forward, moving faster than enemy tracking systems could follow. One after another, they fired into the weapon's core. The planet killer exploded, not outward, but inward. A silent flash. Then nothing. The beam vanished. Earth was safe. Across the enemy fleet, fear spread. Their ultimate weapon was gone. The enemy commander screamed orders. But discipline broke. Ships tried to flee. Human fleets closed the net. Earth's war doctrine revealed itself fully. Humans did not chase blindly. They predicted. They blocked. They waited. Enemy ships jumped straight into human traps, emerging into kill zones they never saw coming. The refugees could only watch in awe. Human warships fought like hunters. Calm, patient, unstoppable. Within minutes, the hunting fleet was collapsing. Command ships disabled. Weapons silenced. Escape routes sealed. The enemy commander's ship was dragged to a stop, surrounded by human vessels. His voice came through again. No longer confident. Human, he said. This war is not worth it. The admiral replied coldly. You made it worth it. Human marines boarded the enemy flagship, moving through corridors with flawless precision. The commander was captured alive. His empire's symbol reduced to silence. Across the system, the last enemy ships surrendered, powering down, drifting helplessly. The battle was over, but the galaxy was just beginning to understand what it had witnessed. News spread faster than fear. Earth destroyed a hunter fleet. Earth protected refugees. Earth fought without mercy and without cruelty. The refugees felt something unfamiliar. Safety. For the first time in many cycles. No alarms. No running. They looked toward Earth. A blue world full of clouds and oceans. Not a death world. A guardian world. On the human flagship, the admiral finally allowed himself a breath. But an officer spoke softly. Sir, long-range sensors. The admiral turned. New signals were appearing. Far beyond the Sol system. Multiple fleets. Multiple empires. The galaxy was watching now. And not everyone liked what Earth had done. The admiral's eyes hardened. This, he said quietly, is only the beginning. As human fleets repositioned, and Earth stood ready, the galaxy prepared to respond. Earth the only hope left. The Sol system slowly returned to silence. Not the silence of fear, but the silence after survival. Broken enemy ships drifted powerless. Human patrols secured every sector. No more threats. No more alarms. The refugee fleet remained still, almost afraid to move, as if motion might break the moment. Then a gentle human signal reached them. This is Earth Command. You are safe now. Those words traveled through every refugee ship, through damaged halls, through crowded medical bays. Many collapsed where they stood, not from weakness, but relief. Human rescue vessels approached carefully, unarmed, doors open, lights soft. Medical teams entered refugee ships, offering help without questions, without judgment. Human doctors treated wounds with calm hands. Human engineers repaired engines that had not worked in months. Children watched in wonder. Humans smiled back, not as warriors, but as protectors. Permission to land was granted soon after. Shuttle after shuttle descended through Earth's clouds. The refugees held their breath as they saw oceans, forests, cities full of light. When the first refugee stepped onto Earth's soil, they expected fear, suspicion. Instead they found open hands. Emergency shelters were ready. Food, water, and warmth provided freely. Human civilians watched quietly, some with tears, some with pride. The refugees learned something new. Earth did not see them as a burden or a problem. Earth saw them as people. Days passed, then weeks. Children laughed again. Families slept without running. Elders spoke of futures, not endings. Across the galaxy, the story spread. A hunted people crossed 12 systems. and Earth stood alone for them. The Galactic Council was forced to respond. Emergency sessions were called. Old laws were questioned. New rules were demanded. For the first time in history, refugees had defenders, and that defender was Earth. When the captured enemy commander was brought before human courts, he expected execution. Instead, he was judged. His crimes recorded. His victims remembered. The galaxy watched in shock. Humans did not seek revenge. They sought justice. A new phrase entered galactic language. Human space. Not a warning, but a promise. Years later, refugee children stood beside human children, studying the stars together. They learned what Earth had taught them. Strength without mercy creates fear, but strength with compassion creates loyalty. Earth did not become the ruler of the galaxy. It became something more powerful, a shield, a final hope. And whenever a world closed its gates to the desperate, the galaxy remembered one truth. Backhand index pointing right: if you are hunted, if you are innocent, if you have nowhere left to run, there is still one place that will stand for you.